Hey guys, I am not very good at intros, so work with me. But today I prepared a video collage with my beautiful voices of voiceover. This collage will go over my first experience as I traveled up the northeastern states doing some fieldwork with my mentor Marnay. I really wish I took a lot more videos than photos of my trip, but for now, more photos and videos will work. I hope you guys enjoy. So our first stop here is in Maryland, where we spent most of our time at the National Arboretum in an area of elms that were curated by a biologist named Alan Woodmore. As you can see right here, this is essentially what the land looked like, just a line of elms located by their Pleiadian genotype. We used this beautiful machine here called a Cirrus 4, which captured all the photosynthetic data that I used for my project. And we were able to actually test the all-hyped slingshot, where we got to mess around with that a little bit when we had some free time. After that, we were able to visit the area a little bit more, where I got to hate an oyster at a restaurant. Hated that thing. We had some beautiful shots of the coastal area where a lot of rich people had a lot of expensive boats. And then we had some free time. We were actually be able to explore the actual arboretum, where we got to see a bunch of beautiful looking bonsai trees. And the one coming up right here is my favorite because this one in particular is from the 1600s. This thing is very old. Our next stop here is in New York, where Marnay failing to almost land on a wheel will serve as our intro here. The first thing I noticed when coming to this state was how high the elevation was. I was very much not used to it, being from the Midwest and just used to just open, flat areas. Because of that, we were able to get a lot of scenic views of the open area. It was very beautiful. I do have to shout out Marnay for taking a lot of photos of me. I was able to keep a lot of them in my gallery for future keeping. And again, I got a lot more photos of just that open area. It was a lot better in person, I will say that. It was very beautiful to be that high in the air. And I got a view of the Hudson, first time ever seeing the Hudson before. The next day, we went to this lake called Goose Pond Lake, where we traveled around this entire lake. That took a long time and a lot of breaks in between. The best thing we found was this little dinner going on in a tree on the trail, because the only elm tree that we actually found was at the beginning of the trail, and it was small, but it did have beautiful leaves, so we were able to take a few for sampling. We did visit other state parks as well, where we found a lot more leaves, but this one in particular I wanted to shout out because how sad it looked. Dutch elm disease was just running rampant all through it, and me and Marnay definitely knew that I was close to death. Our next stop here is the Green Mountain state of Vermont. This area was absolutely beautiful that we stayed in, even though there was absolutely no cell service as well. The plan was the same as New York, where we were just essentially going on these beautiful trails and looking for American elm trees along the way. This area in particular in Vermont did have a decent amount of American elm that we could have worked with. And on top of that, we were able to view some very beautiful sceneries going down these hikes. Like I said, a lot of beautiful elm trees, not very huge by my memory, but the leaves were fresh and beautiful. This was probably the largest one we ran into, and even Dutch elm disease wasn't very bad on it. But other than that, again, a lot of beautiful hiking areas, and I have a lot of photos to show of that. I wish I could have put more, but I didn't want to overload the video here. I do have to show off this beautiful sideways tree that was bent over a little stream area. It was very funny to see because we didn't notice it on our first run. And obviously we had to stop by a mom and pop shop for some authentic Vermont maple. Next stop was in New Hampshire. This state was pretty amazing when it comes to the physicality of it again. But unfortunately, this state completely lacked any and all American elm. We did find a couple, but it was a hard find and we barely found any. We went on a lot of hikes in these high areas, and we theorized that's probably the reason why is the altitude was getting a little too high. We even walked along a river, and this is kind of what it looked like, and we still couldn't find any. But other than that, it was still a very beautiful journey for me. We did find yet another sideways tree, again, right over a stream or river. I don't know why they're so common in that area. But before we left New Hampshire, we did find a few, and we even visited the little area called North Conway, which had a very cool tourist area that had a lot of gift shops and whatnot that I wish I took more photos of. And lastly, the final state we visited was in Maine. Unfortunately, I did have to leave a bit earlier than Marnay did, so I do have less photos and videos of this area compared to any other state. But fortunately, because the trees here in Maine were a lot higher compared to any other state, we were actually able to take advantage of our slingshot here. So in this one, I'll have actual video evidence of me using the slingshot, and have one of us actually shooting it up into the canopy. This took a very long time, unfortunately, but it was fun nonetheless.